Alright guys, welcome back to the podcast. Welcome back to Tomboy Official. Some days I think I'm gonna need an unload. So just like I did yesterday, I'm recording this unload episode that's just kind of like similar to how in the J.B. Messina book, how they had that morning brain dump. It's kind of what this is. But I'm recording it as a separate segment because it might go off topic from the other one, and I'm trying to stay on topic, but also update about my day to day. So, and I mean, I don't share like every single detail of my days, but I share quite a bit. I'm trying to share as much as I kind of can. Yesterday was weird. If it felt pretty good. I had this edible early morning yesterday, and as a way to kind of force myself to not go overboard with things. So probably at like 6 a.m. I had this 5 milligrams worth of a hybrid live resin edible, and I was recording too while I had that in my system, and I kind of had some caffeine I was getting into my system. I pretty much write notes. So I've been writing kind of my schedule of what I want my morning to be, and then in brackets kind of writing what actually happened near those timestamps. So yesterday I woke up ridiculously early. I think I mentioned it, waking up at like 4 a.m., getting up at 6:05 a.m. So last night, even before 9 p.m. or so, I was already tired. I had coffee around 6:35 a.m. Breakfast around 9 a.m. is when I actually ate. Talked to a friend on the phone for about 2 hours between about 2:30 and 5:30. Then had dinner right after that, and then did some journaling, did some short story writing. Lights out was at, I said 8:57 p.m. That's what time my lights were out. I turned out the lights and then realized it's not even 9 p.m. yet. So I was trying to start sleeping early. Did some podcasting while I was laying around for probably like an hour. And then I was having some weird little stomach issue. It wasn't major, but it was a little bit of a discomforting pressure that would have been hard for me to like sleep. So I basically, around 10 or something, I had a Pepto chewable, and I think it got me kind of like constipated or something. Like I'm just not feeling too hot today. This morning anyways. So yeah, yesterday was pretty good. It wasn't really the most productive day, but in the morning I studied like after breakfast and before lunch. I think I had lunch around noon. Before lunch I basically was studying stuff. Uh, I don't know if I'm gonna say what I was studying, but there's some stuff that I study. Um, it's cultural. It's in another language. So I was kind of doing like a not a language study necessarily, but it was kind of a language study. Um, Last night I was recording on another pod about um, kind of about toxic relationships slash abuse, like methods that I've kind of internally developed in my mind to kind of like challenge my thinking on those types of people. Say if I have to be in a space with them or share a room with them, not like a bedroom or whatever, but share a room, like share a space with them or share my energy with them in any way, just kind of like my own method of like dealing with that. I, it's not professional advice in any way, but I would never really advise people to really take too much energy to spend with abusive people, or I would usually recommend people to try to get away. But I understand, people have love for one another, and sometimes people are minors, or dependent on others, and they just can't get away. There's so many different circumstances, and abuse varies. There's like a severity level and control level and manipulation level. Sometimes it's uh, um, intensive, other times it's not. Um, but yeah, yesterday was kind of a down day, like just to keep my energy kind of focused and have a weekday where I'm not doing too much. Wednesday, I kind of threw off that day that was supposed to be my regular weed Wednesday that's usually calm. Um, when I went out and was doing a bunch of stuff, I feel like it was like most of the day I was pretty busy and didn't end up taking a break. But yesterday I took a break. Um, for me, it's kind of one of those things that like mentally I know I took the break, so I should be able to kind of push through the end of this week and then what I need to do for the next like few days or so. But I do take time during the weekends to just have some downtime. I had some weird dreams uh, this morning. It was kind of like a bad dream. Not really a nightmare, but it was like not like a happy dream. I was just kind of stressed in my dream, and that's not too normal for me. Last night was probably the first night in a long time that I didn't have an edible going to sleep. Um, so maybe that's why I'm waking up feeling a little like I don't know if I slept that good. Even though I think I did. I think I slept all the way through the night. I think I slept probably, let's say I slept like around 10:45 p.m. Woke up probably sometime between 5 and 6 a.m. I didn't look at the time or anything, but based on like hearing traffic picking up, I think it was getting close to 6 a.m. Um, I think the reason why I say that is because traffic starts to pick up. Usually by 6:30, traffic is like already rolling, so it wasn't that early, and it wasn't that light out yet because the sun still isn't coming out till like 6:45 or whatever. So I don't really know what time it was, but it was early, and I woke up. I was a little bit irritable, anxious, just kind of like, okay, I want to kind of rest more. I'm not really feeling like I want to get up this early. Um, and in my head, I was already like, I don't want to go to the gym. I don't want to study. I don't want to, like there's a lot of things that feel like obligations that are a little taxing that I already don't want to do. Um, so I was like, let me just not entertain that set of ideas. I basically was trying to do just a lot of like breath work. And eventually I did go back to sleep this morning. And that's when I started having like the weird dream. I got up around 7. What time did I write it down? Like 7:13 a.m. or something. 7:13 a.m. Started recording around 7:48 a.m. So today is like a late day for me. My energy's a little thrown. I didn't work out yesterday either, so it's like there's some things, you know, that I did or didn't do yesterday that wasn't my norm. So the edibles before sleep, that was one. I didn't have an edible before I went to sleep. I didn't get exercise yesterday. I didn't, well, I did take an edible early in the morning at like 6 something, which also isn't like something I do every day. Like maybe once on a weekday if I'm having like these kind of weekdays where I'm not like going into work, or maybe once on a weekend, like a Sunday morning or something, but it's not, usually not more than that, because it really does, you know, change what I do during my day if I have an edible. I was feeling, I don't know how I actually felt yesterday. I'm not certain if I was like pretty in touch with my emotions yesterday. I feel like I was really into like spirituality type of thinking yesterday. Like that was kind of what was on my mind up until lunch. I was like really thinking pretty deeply about a lot of things. And some reason this morning I'm just like completely foggy, that I don't really know. Like I'm really foggy with it. So I'm not too sure like exactly what I was thinking about. Just mainly because I can't fully remember. But yeah, it is weird having this like foggy morning today, because this is what, some work days used to feel like when I would get up, and some reason I'd just be like foggy. Another thing I did do yesterday, I ate 2 helpings for dinner. It was mostly carbs, and I have been laying off the carbs a lot, and not like full days of no carbs, not so much like that, but really minimal amount of carbs, and I ate a lot of carbs last night, so I think that's why my stomach was kind of doing what it was doing and still is doing. And it probably contributed to me having weird dreams too, just like the sugar breakdown, the calories. I think it makes me feel different. Like I feel different than when I ate like a 3 p.m. burger the day before, and that was my last meal. Like a turkey burger that had like the works, it's like a turkey burger on a wheat bun, and it's like the patties are home. I don't know if you guys know Fat Burger. It was from Fatburger, so it's like, yeah, it's fast food, but it's like relatively healthy-ish fast food. Like they make the patties there and stuff. So it's like it's a good spot, but yeah. Um, and I don't think I did anything that was too intense for me yesterday. Like I don't feel like I had like a very, very, very stressful day, but there was that portion of going through that kind of journal about last night. Sorry, when I went through it last night, that kind of journaling about my uh, just a journaling about um, uh, like about abuse and toxic relationships and stuff like that. When I was reading through that, like maybe that impacted me, but I don't really know. Like I feel like it's stuff that I've all worked through for the most part. But I do have a few family members, I'd say maybe like three people who have abusive tendencies that, you know, two of the three actively kind of try to interact with me. And one of them lately is kind of really needing my help with something. Not emotionally, but just something on a professional level. Um, as far as the work that they're doing, they need me to help them with something. It's like paperwork related stuff. And I'm just kind of like, you know, like me and this person don't really have a deep connection or a relationship. They're pretty neglectful. Um, they definitely keep their distance until it suits them. And it's like all the stuff I've been going through all these months, they have been nowhere near, haven't once asked me how I'm doing, haven't even checked in to really see what's going on. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, you know, they contacted me because they needed my help with something. So it's kind of like, you know, I've been going through these phases of like, do I need to or want to interact with this person? I was like, I don't feel like I want to completely ignore and avoid them, but I also don't want to get involved with them. And so, you know, that's been probably a bigger conflict. Like, I don't think I'm, you know, there's no real physical risk from this person. It's more just like emotionally. Um, they tend to be too forceful, kind of in the way that they request things. Like when they get involved, the way that they kind of talk to me, their tone, just the type of stuff they say. They're not very nice. They don't seem to really care about how I feel or what I'm doing or anything. And so, you know, I'm kind of like, you know, I got other stuff going on. I'm not really trying to like deal with this person and what they need, but they keep contacting me. Uh, it's probably like the fourth attempt. Like they sent a text before, they sent a voicemail after that. This is like over a course of some days. First a text, then a voicemail, then WhatsApp. I responded by text, and then responded by WhatsApp to like fill them in like a week later, over a week later, about like what I've been doing, because they partially asked, and I was debating if I even wanted to involve them in my life, and I was like, oh, I'll tell them what I'm doing. The kind of like tentative timeline, but overall my plans, work-wise and stuff, and kind of filled them in about it. And then, you know, they responded saying, okay, they're supportive and, you know, hope it goes good. And then the rest of their message was, and then they're like, thanks for, like telling me, because they didn't really know it all. And then all of a sudden they were like, I really need help. It's like, I know you need help with this damn thing. Like, you've said it like 3, 4 times already. And I don't have energy to be like dealing with other people's work. Like, someone else wants me to help them with their job, and I'm just like, I don't want to. Like, I don't want to help them. Like, I don't want to even hardly do my own job. Like, how am I supposed to help somebody else with theirs? Um, it just sounds like so much effort. And then also, I don't really trust this person to follow through. Because there is like a bit of like, they can provide a little bit of like money. If I get them people, they're willing to pay the people that would help them with their work, but I don't really know if they're really going to pay the people. So it's like, I don't want to get my friends involved in something, being like, oh, this family member of mine or this person I know is going to pay you to help them with this thing, and then like they end up not paying. Like, I just don't trust this person enough to follow through on their word with like money. They kind of don't really follow through on that kind of stuff a lot. There's a lot of stuff they don't follow through on, and we're not really that connected lately. So for me to like connect them to people I know, I don't really want them involved in my life and having contacts with people that are like, you know, I've got a community and safe space with these other people. I don't know if I really want this specific person to have their phone numbers or emails or anything like that. Even though they would need that so that they could send them the steps of what they would need to do, and so they could figure out how to provide a form of payment to them, And I was playing with the idea, like, I could just message like a few of my friends and be like, here's a family member who's needing some help with this thing. There's 2 steps to it. Basically, you can you can text them or email them your phone number and Venmo or Cash App or whatever, and they can copy paste you the link and details of what you need to do. But I feel like that's too much. I feel like the way this person talks to people, I don't really trust that they're going to be nice and calm and polite. I don't really trust that they're not going to take those numbers and keep calling and keep on. Like, the way that they're annoying me and trying to be a little pushy with things just because they need it, I don't want them to be like this with my friends and get involved with my friends, like, this person does have a history of doing kind of like weird, embarrassing things. I don't know if people know about prepaid legal. Like, it was a pyramid scheme back in the day where like basically you could get, you basically would be there's like, you'd basically be I don't know what you call it, like a person, basically. You'd be like an individual, and that individual has like, say, 3, 4 people under them, and each of those people, you get money for each of those people signing up, and every person they sign up, you get like $20 or something like that. It was like a pyramid scheme, so that like it keeps going down the pyramid, so that at a certain point you're just making all this like passive money from all these people under you selling stuff. And it was basically a prepaid legal service that you would pay. You'd have legal, you would pay, I don't know if it was like a monthly $20 thing or whatever, and you'd have a subscription. Like, you could either just get the monthly subscription so that you would pay monthly, and then you would have access to um, a legal representative if you needed it all of a sudden. But I think you had to pay monthly, or maybe it was a one-time fee, so that if you needed it, it was there. I can't remember if it was a one-time fee or I can't remember now, because this was like so long ago. This was like in like 2003 or something. Like, I was barely in starting college, barely out of high school. Um, so yeah, so that person, back then had called up a bunch of my friends, got my friends signed up, and you know, it was like they were kind of losing money. I think it was a monthly thing because they kind of like pressured my friends without me even knowing it. They had some of my friends' contacts. So my best friend, and then I don't know if there were other people, but they tried to get us connected, and they basically kind of signed up one of my close friends for this stupid thing. And then me and that close friend we tried to go door to door to like do sales. That didn't work because we were like young. Like we looked young. Like we were like probably like 18, 19. Probably looked about 15, 16. Um, and I remember we put on church clothes and went like door to door, and we're trying to like with our binders full of like the company information, and like everyone else was like, oh, we already have a legal representative, like nobody was interested. um but so we didn't get any sales at all the first day after going door to door. And I remember this person went and purchased this for I don't know how many people in the family, expecting that they were going to go make sales. But it was a pyramid scheme. So it's like they would pay for certain people, cousins or whatever, to enter prepaid legal. And then, yeah, they would pay for people to enter it. And then if those people signed anybody up, they expected to get money. But I think they didn't really, maybe they knew it was a pyramid scheme. I think maybe they didn't know it was a pyramid scheme. I don't think they really understood that it wasn't like a business, like a small business or whatever. But I mean, this was like way back then, and this person hasn't really changed too much on that end with the little like potential side hustles that are a little sketchy. Borrowing money from people, not paying it back, that kind of thing. So it's kind of hard for me to be like, okay, like I don't think you're really gonna pay the people who help you out. Like I really don't think they have the best history at like paying people on time. Um, you know, I know there were times when certain people would do like work around this person's house, and they also never really fully paid them for that. So I'm not really, I don't think it's a good idea for me to get my close friend groups involved with this person, because I don't think they're going to pay them, and I don't think they're going to leave them alone. I don't think it's going to be like okay, here's some of my friends contacting you, and then, and the thing is, I can't just send them the link from my end and be like, just do this survey thing, because they need to know who. Like, I don't want to get involved with the money and all that, like, and be the middle person of like, okay, they paid me and now I pay you. Like, that for me is just a little too weird. Like, I don't want to be involved. And so yeah, I just don't want to be involved. I don't. And you know, there is kind of a bit of pressure to be involved, just because uh, this person is in my life. So and I'm not good at like ignoring people. I can have bad boundaries with people. The other day, I was slightly regretful that I had kind of filled this person in on my life and updated plans. They are being very nice to me, but I know it's because they need something from me. And I'm not trying to be, I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, I'm really not trying to be vindictive or like hostile or hold a grudge. Like, I know this person has done wrong things in the past, but you know, as of currently, they haven't done anything towards me negatively, other than just completely not being available, or connected in any way, hardly at all. Um, I don't think, uh, I don't think they've, uh, I don't know, like if somebody, I'll put it this way, they didn't have my email address, right? That was one thing where I'm like, who doesn't have my email address? You know, another thing was, they didn't know where I was living. They didn't know if I was living in San Diego or in LA, which I feel like everybody knows where I'm living now. Like, so they didn't know which city I was living in. They didn't know what I was doing for work. They knew there was something going on between working and studying, but they didn't know what it was. And I'm just kind of like, yeah, like, because we don't talk, it's like everybody, even on the internet, I'm always talking about it. Like, I don't talk about the details too much of what I'm going into, but it's tech related, and I was working in psych, and I think everybody kind of was like, everybody who talks to me knows that about me. Like, I don't think there's anybody who does not know that. So I don't really know. Like, I don't think this person genuinely wants a relationship or connection, or genuinely knows how to do that. Right now, they're using me as a resource. I don't want to be a resource because it's connected to a bunch of other baggage that I don't need. And even if this person does do things and follow through exactly how they say, I just don't want to be, I don't want to take the chance of being involved, of involving people I know with somebody that I don't trust, if that makes sense. Like, to me, that doesn't make any real sense. Like, to me, it's not a good idea. So I do kind of have like some access to people that this person could potentially contact, but I feel like they might overstep. I feel like they might have some of their hang-ups and bad habits incorporated into whatever they might be trying to do, and I don't want them, contacting my friends over and over and over. I don't want them, you know, like, say if they have their information this time around, and then say, something else for work comes up again later on, and now they're going to have their contact information. Are they going to go through that list and start like contacting my friends to help them with whatever it is they need for the next project or whatever? Like, I don't trust that they could just, mind their P's and Q's and stay out of my business and stay out of my life. I do think I don't want them to even have any of my friends' contact information. And it's not any old friends. Like, I have friends that this person knows. I have a lot of friends that this person knows, but those people don't count. because they can't be of like a certain religion, and so um yeah, because they can't be of a certain religion, all those friends that this person knows um wouldn't count and couldn't participate in whatever it is that they're doing. So um like as I'm talking about it, I'm noticing that it is kind of weighing on me a little bit. um but I do have my boundaries with this person. I didn't fully cross that boundary when I kind of updated them about my current professional plans, career path, and stuff. Um, like, I don't mind telling them that kind of stuff, but it's like they haven't been in contact since at least April of 2022, if not before that, or else they would have known, where I was moving, what I was doing, where I was planning on going. They would have known all that stuff, and they didn't know any of it. So it's like, well, we're not even in touch. So, like, like, I don't want to pretend like we're that close, because we're not, like, if you don't even know what I'm doing, like, now, it's like, we're not really that much connected. And that's on them. Like, I send them messages. I've sent them messages. I've gone out of my way to, provide care and energy towards this person, and they don't really reciprocate. Um, but then when people stop, like, trying to, like, engage with them, they're like, nobody calls me anymore, or nobody's talking to me. So it's kind of like, but you never respond. So it's like, I mean, they're so disconnected, and part of me is a little, at least a little, maybe a lot, upset with this person just because they're not involved in my life. And so I just kind of, I'm like, well, this is such a one-sided, like, I'm not into these one-sided relationships. The ones where it's like, why am I always calling? Why am I always the one putting out the effort? Like, I'm not doing that. I'm not gonna do that. Um, like, I understand everybody has their hang-ups and their own, like, insecurities and attachment situations going on, but I've got my own too, and it doesn't help me to be like, when I try to reach out to people who just aren't available. Like, if you can't be physically available or emotionally available or even just generally available, just thumbs up something. Like, you don't even have to, you know, do that. And like, I've requested just casually, ways to catch up with them. Like, you can send me pictures, or like, hey, just let me know what you're up to. Send me a voicemail or whatever. I mean, years, this person has not really been involved. And so, because they've been so distant for so long, I'm kind of like, I know that their motives are pretty selfish on their end, and I'm kind of over it. Like, I'm kind of like, this isn't, I already know it's not like a healthy relationship. It never was. Um, because before all of this, they were an abusive person. And so it's like, like, I just don't see, like, even if they're not being like actively abusive, I still don't trust their motives or the potential for like what they could do. I don't trust that they're not going to overstep other boundaries. They just don't have good boundaries socially with people, and they seem pretty disconnected from everybody, or else they would have other people that they could contact to get help with this stuff. Um, and I just don't want to be honest, I just don't want to deal with it. I don't want to deal with it. Like, um, and I don't think I should have to. Like, there's a part of me that's like, okay, like, I want to be nice. I feel like I'm being mean. by putting my foot down and being like, I don't want to help, or putting my foot down and being like, well, I'm not even going to respond because I can't really help you comfortably in a way that suits me and would benefit me, or I don't feel like I'm getting anything out of this other than stress. So I don't think it makes any sense for me to help them. But that's kind of like the heavy kind of thing. But I'm working through it. It's just, trying not to feel like bad or guilty about like not helping somebody. Because when I know people need help, I usually will bend over backwards to try to help people. Even if I don't want to, I'll do it. Like, even if I'm exhausted and fatigued and just not even mentally in the right place, I will still go out of my way to try to help people. And so it's hard for me to be like, because I know this person sees that in me and they know that I usually am very helpful. And that's why they're reaching out. But I'm like, not this time. Not this person, not this time. There's not really a lot of connection lately. I don't trust them, and I know people can change, but also I don't want to risk it because I've got, a healthy, social life that I don't want this person involved with, because all the parts that I'm involved with this person and all the religious people that I know, not all of the religious people, but a lot of that kind of community, this person included, is just kind of like a toxic set of people. And so I don't see any reason why I should open the door for all that again, because I've been away from it for so long that I don't want it seeping back into my life in a way that's not gonna help me. And set I've set boundaries enough with all these people, and so I don't know, like, part of it's just dealing with the guilt of like not helping somebody. It bothers me to not help somebody, but I think the potential for things going wrong, like, I see it could go, even though I may be looking at all the worst case scenarios. If any of those pieces happened, I would be just like so pissed off. And it's not worth risking it. And I also don't think I could tell this person, like, hey, like, burn the numbers, like, once you get their numbers. I don't trust that they would do that. I don't trust that they wouldn't take advantage in some way of other people helping them and just like not pay them. I don't trust them to be able to hold up their end of the bargain. I mean, you know, when they say they're going to do something, they don't really follow through. Even the last time, they are the ones who ignored a message I sent them and then told me that they were going to send me something which they never sent. And this was in like December or early January. And so they ignored me even then, and then they still ignored what they said they were going to do. So it's kind of like, I don't really think, they still haven't even proven, even recently, that they're able to kind of like follow through with simple things. So I really don't trust them, and so I don't really want to involve them. But I think it is taking a lot of my energy, even though it's not like a huge deal. I think it's just like one of those things that's like draining me a little bit. And it's really not a huge deal. Like, it's not like a big thing. It's not like, oh, like, this whole thing is happening and like nothing's really happening. I'm just kind of like trying to prevent things from happening. And I hope it's not too loud. Like, the traffic suddenly, it's almost 9 a.m. and so the traffic is like super aggressive right now. But yeah, that's on my mind a little bit, a little less now, but that is kind of like taking a lot of my emotional and mental space, as well as like a bit of being conflicted about studying for this exam, planning for this exam. I'm a little like maybe not too ready. Uh, but I'm working on my own stuff. I'm just gonna keep working on my own stuff. I feel like that's the best route I can take. Um, I have been kind of slow lately on working on things, but you know, sometimes I do need to step away from stuff. Um, so yeah, today I'm gonna get in some exercise, but probably at night. I don't know yet though what time, but I think Friday night. It's Friday night. Well, it's Friday now, but tonight for Friday night, I'm gonna go out and I'll go to the gym tonight probably. I don't really want to go um, while it's busy out, so I'll probably go after 6. I don't know. I feel like if I wait too long, I'm not gonna go though. So I'll see how I feel around noon and see if I can get in a workout after lunch. Maybe just work out from home. I don't know, but I think skipping the workout, having all the carbs, all that kind of stuff. Waking up way too early yesterday. I think I'm just kind of a little worn down. I was happy to catch up with some friends yesterday. That was probably one of the highlights of my day, and the studying that I did on my own for my own interests. That was pretty fulfilling. I felt like it was like a fulfilling part of my day. Not that nothing else was fulfilling, but yesterday overall was a pretty chill day. But I did find myself kind of like towards the end of the evening, a little anxious, towards, just feeling a little overwhelmed. Um, I've really had a lot of writer's block. With the short story I'm working on, it's like I don't really know if I really want to write out the end of it. Um, Not like way too much. Um, I don't know. But anyways, I haven't like definitively like figured out what I'm doing today. I just know that my energy is way lower today than it has been all week. And I was a little thrown by waking up feeling kind of weird. And I'm trying not to make it into something negative. Like, it's just kind of how it is today. Um, I'm trying to determine if it means speed up or slow down. I might do a lot of writing. I did schedule a trip to go to Vegas. I'll be there February 23rd through 25th. I need to schedule other plans to go to the mountains. Have not yet done that. But yeah. I'm kind of like excuse me. I hope I'm not getting sick, but I'm kind of like trying to figure out what to do with this energy. Like, I don't know if it's like, the whole like ignore it, go do something else, get yourself in a better headspace, avoid it or lean into it. I feel like I want to lean into it a little bit this morning, but I don't want it to throw me off. But I do think I want to lean into it a little bit just for purposes of writing and everything. But I don't know. We'll see. I want to see if like I'm really trying to write a lot, create a lot of content, just to have kind of like a good picture of kind of what's going on, how am I dealing with it, how have I dealt with things. Like I think I mentioned before that like, you know, it was kind of eye-opening finding some journals from the past and like having like old stuff that I've written lyric-wise, instrumental-wise, journal-wise, stories, podcasts, just different creative kind of works to go with, that kind of excuse me, kind of help me with kind of realizing some stuff. They're just like different things that do kind of help. But um, I was kind of inspired watching this Erykah Badu post by Vogue magazine, and she was on there kind of showing off her studio and everything and all the things she has in it and all the creative sounds and kind of how she connects to like different vibrations, sounds, energy, that kind of thing. And something about it all just like resonated with me very heavily, where I was just like, yeah, like I could kind of see how, you know, a creative person, you know, would have a space like that, and just the way she thinks about her spaces as like sacred, and you know that, you know, there's definitely like a spiritual component to a lot of stuff. So it's just kind of weird. But yeah, it really is just kind of like a strange, like, you know, just having a connection with like creative works and being the person creating those things. I'm not trying to focus on like negative stuff and trauma and all that, but it's like I kind of want to put things more into like creativity and not just dwell on it, or anything like that. So yeah, I did have a little yerba mate this morning, and for breakfast I'm gonna have blackberries in a Perfect Bar. I'm not really in a mood to like cook. But I feel, oh, it's still early, in the morning. And I do feel a little bit better. I just think I was like super tired earlier. And hydrating helps too, but we'll see. I don't really know for sure where I'm going today, honestly, with things like, I think if I have to leave the house to go to the gym, it might just be too much effort to have to get ready and leave. But if I'm staying put, I might need a little bit, uh, I don't know, like, but I am gonna do a lot of creative things today. So if I do wear out my energy, it's gonna be out of creativity. Um, and I do have just like this energy in me. Like it's not, I mean, it's pretty subtle, but um, it's really hard to explain though. But yeah, I'm seeing kind of where my day goes. I don't really have anything more to say on here with this recording, but I do have to record the actual day 5 book readings that I read the next 3 pages for this morning. So I am going to get into that, but this episode, I hope these aren't like depressing. Like I really can't tell because I know that I feel like I can be kind of heavy. Like it's not my intention to be all like heavy about things, but that's kind of like where my head is a lot. Like I'm kind of deeply diving into a lot of stuff some days. So but I'm trying to look at the benefits of how I approach stuff. Just kind of how I was saying before, like there's a benefit for me coping with feeling guilty for dealing with a certain situation the way that I am, because it helps me feel more secure to not have to allow this other type of person to be involved in my life. Like I don't want to be dealing with them. I don't want them contacting me or my friends all the time and stuff. So just things like that, just like trying to figure out ways to deal with those types of situations. But with that, I'm gonna stop this recording. I'm gonna record the 3 pages from the book and then see what creatively comes out, what I do next today. All right, thanks for listening.